You know that feeling? When you're trying to speak English and it feels like your brain has to take this massive detour through your native language
Oh,
first.
absolutely.
You hear the English, you kind of get it, but then there's this whole internal back and forth, translating what they said, figuring out your reply in your own language,
hmm
and then translating that back into English before you can even open your mouth. Has that ever happened to you?
I think it happens to so many learners. It's really common. That constant mental gymnastics, it really, really slows you down.
Yeah.
Makes it harder to connect, you know, in a real conversation. It can even, like, chip away at your confidence over time.
It's like talking with a time delay built in.
Exactly. A built-in delay.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've been looking closely at this really helpful YouTube video. It's from Easy English Talk called How to Make Your Brain to Think in English.
Good one.
And our mission today is basically to pull out the best strategies from that video to help you bypass that translation step and start thinking directly in English. Just imagine how much smoother everything could get, speaking, listening, even writing.
It's a big shift. And we're not just talking about, you know, memorizing more words or drilling grammar rules.
Yeah.
Those things have their place, obviously. But this is more fundamental. It's about retraining your brain, creating a more direct pathway for English.
Okay, so why is this shift, thinking directly in English? Why is it well, a game changer? Let's unpack this a bit.
Okay.
The first thing, the most obvious one, is cutting out that delay, that lag time caused by translating back and forth.
Yeah, your brain isn't running that constant relay race. It's just processing and producing English directly.
And that has some really interesting knock-on effects, doesn't it?
It really does. When you're not translating constantly, you're much less likely to use awkward or unnatural phrasing.
Oh, right, like translating idioms literally.
Right. Exactly. Or just simple things. You might translate directly and say something like, I have cold.
Instead of, I am Cole? Yeah, I've heard that.
Right. Thinking in English helps you pick up and use those natural patterns much more instinctively.
Okay, instinctively. And confidence, too, right? That must be
Oh,
huge.
definitely. When the words and phrases just come to you more easily because you're already thinking in that language, that hesitation, that self-doubt,
Sure.
it starts to fade.
You just feel more sure of yourself. It's more fluid.
Much more fluid. And it's not just about speaking either. Thinking in English actually sharpens up your listening.
How so?
Well, your brain's already kind of operating in English mode.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear spoken English, it can process it faster, more efficiently.
Ah, okay. So you can keep up better, catch more details.
Exactly. Understand a faster speech, pick up on nuances, you're just more tuned in.
And you mentioned something else, pronunciation. How does thinking in English help that? That seems less obvious.
It does seem less obvious, but think about it. When you're thinking in English, you're kind of silently rehearsing the sounds, the rhythms, the intonation of the language inside your head.
Like native speakers do without realizing it.
Pretty much. So that internal practice, hearing it in your mind's ear, can actually translate into clearer, more natural pronunciation when you speak out loud.
Wow. Okay, so just to sum that up, faster speaking, more confidence, better listening, and improved pronunciation. That's
Right.
quite a package.
It really is. It's about building that direct line to English in your mind, cutting out the middleman of your native language.
But it's not always easy to make that switch. The video we watched also pointed out some common mistakes people make, things that actually stop them from thinking in English.
That's right. 4 key mistakes that, learners often fall into without even realizing they're hindering the process.
Okay, let's look at those. Number one, according to the source, is relying too much on translation. That seems obvious, but
It is, but it's a hard habit to break. If your first instinct for any English word or phrase is, okay, what does that mean in my language? And then doing the reverse when you want to speak.
you're essentially reinforcing that translation pathway, blocking the direct English one.
Exactly. The video used the analogy of learning to ride a bike with training wheels.
Ah, right.
They help at first, maybe, but you'll never really learn to balance and ride properly until you take them off. Constant translation is like those linguistic training wheels.
Okay, that makes sense. Mistake number two.
Getting too hung up on perfect grammar while you're trying to think.
Oh, I can see that. The pressure to get every sentence perfectly right in your head before you say anything.
It just paralyzes you. It slows down the natural flow of thought. You start focusing more on rules than on just communicating.
Yeah. And grammar is important, obviously, but maybe not the first priority when you're just trying to get the thoughts flowing in English.
Precisely. Think about it. Even native speakers don't consciously analyze every single grammar rule before they speak.
That's
They operate from this, deeply ingrained understanding. And even they make mistakes sometimes.
right. Which kind of leads into mistake number 3, the fear of making mistakes.
A big one. This can be a major roadblock if you're so worried about sounding wrong or saying something imperfectly.
You freeze up, or you default back to translating just to be safe.
Exactly. And you miss out on crucial practice. Mistakes aren't failures. They're actually part of the learning process.
The learning opportunity, right?
Absolutely. They show you where you need to improve. Fluency comes from practice, from trying, not from achieving perfection on day one. Every attempt strengthens those connections.
Okay, good point. And the 4th mistake.
Lack of English immersion. Basically, not having enough English in your daily environment.
So if your whole day is mostly in your native language...
Your brain will just naturally default to that. It's the path of least resistance. The video compared it to trying to become a great swimmer without ever actually getting in the water.
Good analogy. If English is just confined to, like, formal lessons, but not part of your everyday life.
Your brain doesn't get enough chances to naturally switch into that English thinking mode.
Yeah.
You need that exposure, that immersion, even in small ways, to make the shift happen.
Okay, so let's recap those quickly. The big 4 obstacles: relying too much on translation, obsessing over grammar while thinking, being afraid of mistakes, and not enough English immersion.
Got it.
Right. So we know the problems. Let's talk solutions. The video laid out 6 practical steps you can take to start training your brain.
Yes, and these are things you can really start doing right away. Concrete actions.
Yeah.
The very first step is super simple, but really effective. Just consciously name things around you in English.
I love this one. So simple. Just
Yeah.
look around you right now, wherever you are. Your room, the office.
The kitchen, car.
Yeah. And just mentally label things in English. Bed, window, lamp, phone, computer, chair. Just get your brain used to seeing the world through an English lens, even just for objects.
And the video suggested taking it a small step further. Don't just think cup. Maybe think, I am holding my cup.
Or I am drinking coffee from my cup.
Exactly. Connect the object to a simple action that starts building those basic sentence structures directly linked to your reality.
Okay, step 1, label your world. Step 2 is talk to yourself in English. Now, I know this might sound a bit weird at first, maybe slightly embarrassing if someone catches you.
Yeah. But it's such a powerful technique because it completely removes the pressure.
No audience.
No audience, no fear of judgment, no worrying about mistakes.
Yeah.
You can do it while you're cooking, getting dressed, walking the dog. Just narrate what you're doing or what you're thinking in simple English.
Like, okay, now I'm putting on my shoes, or, it's a sunny day today.
Exactly that. It's your own private practice zone, a no-stakes environment.
And who cares if the grammar isn't perfect then, right? It's just for you. Getting comfortable forming thoughts in English.
Precisely.
Oh.
Okay, step 3 involves a shift in your learning tools. Try to use an English-to-English dictionary.
Okay. Instead of always reaching for the translation dictionary.
Right. It seems like a small change, but think about the impact. If you see a new word and immediately look up its translation.
You're back to reinforcing that translation habit.
Exactly. But if you look it up in an English-to-English dictionary, you see the definition in English.
Like the example in the video, looking up excited and feeling very happy and eager.
Yes. Your brain connects the new English word, excited, with other English words, happy, eager, and concepts. It stays within the English framework.
And you probably learn extra vocabulary from the definition itself, too.
Often, yes. It's a great way to build vocabulary more organically.
Okay, so English-to-English dictionary. Step 4 is about starting simple. Think in simple sentences first.
This is key, especially when you're starting out or even if you're more advanced but feeling overwhelmed. Don't try to construct super complex sentences in your head right away.
Because that can just make you stumble and maybe revert back to translating to get it right.
Exactly. The video gave a good contrast. Instead of struggling with, I should probably go to the supermarket later on because we seem to have run out of vegetables required for the evening meal.
Yeah, that's a mouthful even to think.
So just start with the core thought. I need vegetables.
Simple, direct.
Yes, I need vegetables. The weather is nice. I'm hungry. Start with those short, basic thoughts. As you get more comfortable, they'll naturally start linking together into longer, more complex ideas. It's a building block approach.
Build up gradually. Okay. Step 5. Cultivate an English inner voice.
This is about shifting that internal monologue, that voice inside your head that's always going.
Shifting it from your native language to English.
Yes. making a conscious effort. So when you're planning your day, or thinking about options, or just reflecting on something, try doing it in English.
The video suggested asking yourself simple questions in English.
Right, like, okay, what should I do first? Hmm, maybe I'll start with breakfast. Or even just, how do I feel today? What should I wear?
So it's like having a continuous little English chat with yourself inside your mind.
Pretty much. It might feel a bit forced at first, definitely, but like any habit, with consistent practice, it starts to feel much more automatic.
Okay. And the final step, number 6.
Surround yourself with English. Immerse yourself. This ties back to overcoming that mistake of lacking immersion we talked about earlier.
So actively bringing more English into your daily life.
Yes. Make deliberate choices. Listen to English podcasts,
Yeah.
like this one.
Yes.
Watch English movies or TV shows. Maybe try with English subtitles first, then maybe without later on. Read books, articles, news websites in English. Even just scrolling through social media in English counts.
The more you expose your brain to English in all these different ways.
The more it starts to just soak it up.
Yeah.
Recognize patterns, learn words naturally, and crucially, start thinking in English more automatically without you having to force it quite so much.
Okay, great. So let's quickly run through those 6 steps again. 1, name things around you in English.
2, talk to yourself in English.
3, use an English to English dictionary.
4, think in simple sentences first.
5, cultivate that English inner voice.
And 6, surround yourself with English. Immerse yourself.
Got it. Those are really practical steps.
Yeah,
But knowing the steps is one thing, making them a habit is another.
absolutely. Consistency is everything. It's about turning these actions into regular habits.
And the video had some good ideas for daily exercises to help with that, right?
Yeah.
To make thinking in English more automatic.
It did. Really useful tips. The first one was about starting and ending your day with English thoughts.
Bookending your day. How does that work?
So when you first wake up, maybe even before you get out of bed, just try to mentally run through your plans for the day in English.
Like, okay, it's Monday, meeting at 10, need to call, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And then, before you go to sleep, take a couple of minutes to review your day in English. Today I finished that report I had lunch with. It just helps frame your day with English.
Nice. The second daily practice was setting a specific no translation time.
Yeah, challenge yourself. Maybe start with just 30 minutes a day. During that time, make a really conscious effort to think only in English.
Even if it feels hard.
Especially if it feels hard at first.
Yeah.
You might find your brain trying to slip back into your native language. It's normal, but just gently redirect it back to English. Even a few minutes of sustained effort helps build that mental muscle.
Okay. Another exercise was talking to yourself out loud. We mentioned talking to yourself internally, but this is verbalizing it.
Yes, take it a step further for a few minutes each day. Actually say the words. Describe what you're doing, seeing, thinking in simple English.
I'm making tea now. It smells good.
Perfect. Doesn't have to be complicated. It just makes the connection between thought and speech more direct.
And you suggested thinking in English during routine activities, too.
Things you do on autopilot, like cooking, driving, maybe exercising. Instead of letting your mind wander off in your native language, consciously try to narrate or think about the activity in English.
Okay, the traffic light is red. Need to add more salt.
Simple things like that. It turns dead time into practice time.
And the final daily exercise suggestion was keeping a simple English journal.
Yeah, this is really valuable. Just write down some thoughts. What happened during the day, maybe your goals, a to-do list,
Yeah.
anything. Just do it in English.
And the focus isn't on perfect grammar here either.
Not primarily. It's more about the act of expressing yourself consistently in written English, getting your thoughts out in English, however simply.
Okay, so the daily habits. Start and end the day with English thoughts. Have a no translation time. Talk to yourself out loud. Think in English during routine stuff. And keep a simple journal.
Consistency with those little things really adds up.
Definitely seems achievable if you break it down like that. But, you know, even with the best strategies and habits, there are going to be challenges, right? It's not always smooth sailing.
Oh, for sure. Learning anything new has its hurdles. And the video did address some common ones people face when trying to make this shift.
Good. What's the first big challenge?
Well, probably the most natural one.
Yeah.
Your brain just automatically defaulting back to your native language.
Yeah.
Especially when you're tired or stressed or thinking about something complex.
It's just easier, the path of least resistance again.
Exactly. The solution here is really patience and persistence. Don't beat yourself about it.
Yeah.
Just notice it and gently guide your thoughts back to English.
And start small, maybe.
Yes, don't feel you have to immediately think entire complex paragraphs in English. Focus on thinking individual words, then short phrases. And again, that English to English dictionary habit really helps anchor you in English mode.
Okay. What's another common frustration?
Feeling stuck because you lack the vocabulary. You have a thought, but you just don't know the right English word.
Ah, yes. And the temptation is just to give up or translate it from your native language.
Right. But a better strategy, the video suggests, is to try and describe the word or concept using the English you do know.
Circumlocution, is that the term?
Exactly. So if you can't remember refrigerator,
Yeah.
you could think or say, the cold box where I keep the food.
Right. It keeps you thinking in English, problem solving in English.
And often, either the actual word will pop into your head later, or you've found a way to communicate effectively anyway.
Good tip. And the third challenge.
Losing motivation. Feeling like you're not making enough progress or not seeing results quickly enough.
Yeah, that can be really discouraging in language learning. You put in the effort, but it feels like you're stuck.
This is where tracking your progress, even informally, can be really helpful. Look back at that journal you started.
Or maybe record yourself speaking briefly sometimes.
Yes. Or just consciously notice how your internal self-talk in English feels compared to a month ago. Progress is often gradual, incremental. It's not always obvious day to day.
So you need to actively look for the improvements, however small.
Exactly. Remind yourself how far you've come. Be patient, stay consistent, and trust the process.
Okay, so dealing with challenges means patience, using strategies like describing words you don't know and actively tracking your progress to stay motivated.
That sums it up well. It's about navigating the bumps in the road.
So wrapping things up, I think the big takeaway from this deep dive, based on that easy English talk video, is that thinking in English, it's not some magical ability.
No, not at all. It's a skill you can build.
It's achievable with the right strategies, like the ones we discussed, and crucially consistent daily practice.
Remember to start small. Don't try to do everything at once. Be consistent, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. And please, don't be afraid of making mistakes.
They're part of learning.
Absolutely. Every time you try, every time you push yourself to think in English, even if it feels clunky, you're building those pathways. It gets easier.
So for everyone listening, maybe take a moment to think. Which of these tips or exercises we talked about really resonated with you? Which one feels like something you could actually try starting tomorrow or even today?
Yeah, reflect on your own journey. How could making that conscious shift towards thinking in English really change things for you?
Because ultimately, putting in that consistent effort, it really can transform your whole experience with the language.
It opens up doors to more natural communication, deeper understanding, and honestly, probably makes learning feel a lot more rewarding in the long run.